in. So you might not even see a lot of what we've been subject to in the higher tier play, in the pro play. But that isn't to say that you might see a little bit of Kiri Young. We've been seeing also a lot more resurgence of Baptiste as well. That can also come out as well in response of, okay, we're down Lucio. If we're gonna do anything, if we want speed boost anyway, you might as well run Juno and Juno. Been around the block a time or two, ain't a damn thing that I can do. And you got me thinking you might just be the one. Go ahead. You know,
to try and close things out.
I recall Fox Melee and Nana Kiri from St. Thomas's roster. Welcome back. It has been a hot minute since we've had the Sun Conference, but I'm glad that it's back. We have a broadcast, we have our colleges, we have a new season, new year spec. It is a great time to play some Overwatch 2 for our two colleges today. St. Thomas University up against Warner in the first week.
Yeah, obviously a brand new season, which means the slate has been wiped clean for all of these competitors. We'll be learning exactly which teams going to rise to the top or sink to the bottom over the next couple of weeks, over the next semester. And I'm really excited to get into it with you, Mott. Of course, it's going to be me and you, hopefully covering the entirety of the season, barring any extraneous events. So do get used to the sounds of our voices and our beautiful mugs here, because you'll be seeing a lot of it going forward. Obviously, as well, these players going to be competing on, from what I'm hearing, from what the rumors are saying, the last patch before a big shakeup towards the Overwatch game. So the next couple of weeks, it's going to be indicative of the general style of play, and then after that, it's going to be about how you can adapt to this new curveball that I'm hearing is coming.
I know that it's been a very shaky kind of vibe in the past couple of, I feel like at this point, months, right? With Vendetta releasing, I'll even include her trial weekend because that was a time in our lives. You know, we'll include that as well as part of her release date. Really shaking up the meta in the flex DPS role, really shaking things up into more of a we've talked about a little bit earlier. I'll admit it, it's a little bit Ooga Booga kind of vibe we have going on here. You can also see a lot of teams have also kind of gathered towards a Bastion. Even Symmetra has also made another reappearance, a very short disappearance, and she's back as you know who would have wanted that? You know, it's fine. We're glad to see some good stuff coming out. But of course, with collegiate, it's always a little bit different, right? A lot of it does either depend on if they do placement as a little more meta based, or if it's something a little bit more attuned to their own skill set and whatever they kind of specialize in. So you might not even see a lot of what we've been subject to in the higher tier play, in the pro play, but that isn't to say that you might see a little bit of that make a resurgence in our two teams today.
Vendetta's just really good at the end of the
Yeah.
day, even with the nerfs we see for the mid-season patch. If you can walk up to somebody and hit an overhead, their day is going to be considerably worse, right? And so, whilst the pros might be the best at exploiting every, metric ounce of value, as long as you're, pretty good at the hero, you can still make your opponents pretty miserable to see the newest heroes of the cast locked in. So I'd expect to see at least a little bit of Vendetta at present. I mean, I know you've been casting a Phaser as well, and I know it's been an absolute mainstay in all of your games too. Matt Vito, by the way, has been going on whilst we've been having a Chinwag Oasis. Going to be start then, I believe. We are going to loser picks, but in order. So Hybrid, Push, Flashpoint, Escort, and Clash.
Yes, and a pretty solid map at that as well, right? So with Oasis being the option of choice, I love it. I think it really does. It can, in fact, showcase a good flexibility of compositions. You and I both know very well, Dive and Brawl can be seen in multiple avenues of Oasis, between University all the way to downtown and City Center, of course, or Gardens and City Center, of course. So I do like Oasis a lot. It kind of steers away from the classic of like Ilios a lot of times, Lijiang Tower as well, even Nepal, which kind of has been getting a lot more popular with the integration of Sigma back into the meta a little bit here. Been seeing a lot more Sigma play alongside Zarya, so both of which can absolutely be seen in their respective sub maps where they can be the strongest heroes in the tank pool. Gone are the days of Malga. Gone are the days of Orisa. Really, just making the game the way it is. And it comes down to a lot of, as you mentioned, a lot of just who can play Vendetta a little bit better, or even just who can play around a better Vendetta, right? It comes down to either of those two options. And with Oasis being the option here, I think we're going to see, again, a really good flexibility showcase, or flexible showcase from both of our universities today.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the control pool are quite good for flexibility. games will be close or not, whether we'll be seeing plenty of 3-0s or 3-2s. But I know I was being negative before, but the closer and closer I've got towards lifetime, the more positive I've got. And I feel like we could have some real close ones. Hearing first ban is by that it's going to be a Vendetta. Makes sense, as we said. She kind of broken. It's been very common right now, especially with teams that don't have a particularly strong Vendetta player. You look to EMEA Face It, a team like the F Word likes to ban it a lot. But it is somewhat betraying weakness, I think, especially in map number 1, to take away one of the strongest heroes in the game, because that means they're open for the rest of the match, and your opponent knows it's not in your wheelhouse.
And arguably, sometimes the Vendetta is stronger off of control, right? And you're right, you know, especially if you're coupling her with a Zarya. Same idea as a Zar Genji, Zar Vendetta. You let them kind of, and also Zar Reaper. You let your DPS int in as the Vendetta, as a Reaper. You get charged to the Zarya, and then suddenly, okay, now my Zar is 100% charged on my backline. And the thing is, as you mentioned, pulling that shotgun, pulling the trigger on the Vendetta ban so early like that, it can do one of two things. It can either set the pace for the team that banned Vendetta and hopefully overwhelm their opposition in this first of 3 best of 5, or it doesn't matter. And then you're suddenly stuck in this weird spot of, okay, now they're playing Vendetta in game 2 and game 3 and game 4. We don't have anything to back it up because maybe our Vendetta, as you mentioned, maybe is not as strong as theirs. Maybe we're more comfortable on Genji and Tracer as our preferred flex DPSs. Or in general, Vendetta is, as you mentioned multiple times, she has kind of redefined a lot of what we thought Overwatch was with her kit.
So I didn't quite catch that. So we get that again. Okay, Lucio is our secondary ban then, which is interesting. Lucio ban is something we see quite a lot used generally to force Wuyang Kiriko on flat ground maps, especially taking away the Lucio really does restrict the viable options, especially because the Juno brig setup isn't in a pristine place in the meta. So you normally use it if the Lucio player doesn't have flexibility onto the Wuyang, or if you want to enforce a much more pokey, much more stats-based approach to the game rather than playing for rotates and playing for hits.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even if they do run like a Juno and a Brig, right? They want to have that speed boost in some way, shape, or form. With the lack of a Lucio, which I think is also a big thing here. If we do end up walking ourselves onto University of Oasis, that brawl composition is going to be lacking a very frog-shaped person. You know, we're missing a little part of our souls in that brawl composition. We're gonna be seeing maybe even some different backlines, right? You mentioned the Kiri Wuyang. We've been seeing also a lot more resurgence of Baptiste as well. That can also come out as well in response of, okay, we're down Lucio. If we're gonna do anything, we want speed boost anyway, might as well run Juno and Kiri, things like that, just to make sure that we have some sort of utility in the speed department, because again, those are the only 2 supports I can do that. And we love speed in this house. We love going fast and it's overwhelming our opponents. But again, that is one of 3 possible sub maps that we could get, and it might not even be a factor when we go into this Oasis map. Again, with Oasis, it's always me best of 3. So first 2 rounds, 1 from either side will give them that leg up in the first of 3 series.
Indeed. You'd love to take it, and especially on control, it can be quite maybe an RNG-based mode, but very snowball, right? You win the first fight, and even if you don't close it out in 100-0 fashion, then you often have ult advantage heading into that overtime fight. So pay special attention to how these first fights on these sub-maps break out, because that is going to be a huge advantage for one of these teams to be able to bring through into the rest of the map and indeed the series. So that's what I keep my eye on first and foremost. Other than that, when we head in, we'll be able to guide you through the specific compositional choices. As for now, though, we'll give it a second to relax before we're into Oasis. Let's see.
Looks like they're just waiting for other players to load into this lobby here. From STU Bobcats on the left side, we have Nana, King, Boundless, Fox Melee, and I know Black Puppy. Listen, I'm Dominican too, I get it. It's hilarious. We also see Warner Royal is coming up as well. Flash, Hammer, Chan, Flint, and oh no, G Ninja, I think. Also on the side of Warner. And if they're gonna run bit of what we were saying here, because sometimes these are kind of the the hints of what we might see from either competition. We saw Winston, we saw Baptiste, or sorry, Bastion, we saw a little bit of Sombra. Again, these are just the kind of the loading in characters, but sometimes there's some truth to them. I mean, we might see some of those guys come out, especially if we do start on University first.
Yeah, I mean, flip side of things, teams also often will pick bait heroes in spawn just to mess with us casters, so it's a possibility as well.
Yep,
Let's see if that
always.
materializes, though, as we look to head in for the second time. This time, Lobby, I believe, is correct. So we'll see actually what they have as an idea here. And as you mentioned, we are starting University. This is normally a bit more choke heavy. It lacks more open space, very heavy on its 3 lanes. Ram double flex lacks a lot of utility, but you're great at shooting from the side of the Bobcats. But speaking of shooting, Torb, Soj, Sig, the Royals are going to absolutely dominate in that regard. So Bobcats mostly looking for Soj picks, mostly looking for Ram bombs and nades to try and close things out.
I recall Fox Melee and Nana Kiri from St. Thomas's roster here, and I'm glad I actually see them come back. Now, again, we come back from a little bit of a long break from the Sun Conference, so everyone else, I'm glad to see them either come back or fresh new faces here. We can see some interesting rotations already. Something going underneath the objective, maybe trying to find them from the back, while King Snow from STU comes in from the side entryway, forces the recall already, retreats back to the safety of the team here, and now you're going to see the rest of the team of STU come up around the bend. But Warner Royals already have a really good position to start off your spec, so they're taking a poke fight that STU don't actually want or have the leads or facilities to overtake, and just like that, boom, the first part of this round is going towards Warner for now.
Indeed it is, and remember what we spoke about, how important these first fights are. Warner, especially with the defensive composition set up on the defense, should be able to snowball this, but King's now going down makes this a hell of a lot harder. Warner, well, Royals rather, going to have to fight to defend their position.
Oh, and wait, the Torb Hammer kill. You love. Oh, my man's name is Hammer. I did not even peep game on Warner's end there. We are seeing a really great first fight here. King Snow did die early off in their Spectre, and they're gonna maybe even chase him down. Yeah, they sure are, and they're gonna get a kind of an early pick slash late kill onto the poor Tracer, meaning we're gonna continue this, keeping this point in the favor of Warner Royals. Over 40% already given to these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer really showing shades of my old teammate Cheeseburger here, just absolutely dumpstering him. And so aggressive as well with his overload, pushing straight into the Bobcat spawn. Royals so confident already.
They sure are, and they have the ultimates to back it up too. I see the Flux is already online. I think Flint and Greninja are both coming up on their respective backline ultimates. I have the other end though, STU, they do have a double whammy of the Nano and the continued rush. Nana looking towards the Torbjorn, trying to find the low target, and there it is, slides up, but not before going down. That Kiriko from I Know Black, and here comes the Flux as well onto that front line. Boundless forces and a swarm, but it still finds either way. It finds Fox Melee in the fight, a little bit of a victim of the circumstances, unfortunately, on that Ana, and just like that, Chan pretty much almost single-handedly keeps this fight in the favor of Warner, while they had lost Hammer early in the engagement.
Chan's full sending it, still trying to get the pressure through from this Sigma, but a nano boost from Archer. Boundless, I mean, the damage essentially is, don't matter though, 100-0 Royals shut out their opposition, even though the kills are back and forth. In terms of the position, the Bobcats had absolutely nothing to say.
No, they don't. I mean, the Nano, it was the Nano Ram, right? Takes care of Chan, great. Then you had like the Molten Core right in the entry. You can even see the hesitation from Boundless, as he was like, I can't walk in this. I physically cannot walk in this. And I think Kingston was trying to get to the touch in time, but you know, everything was just going against the entirety of STU. But maybe with the more open space of Gardens, maybe with a comp swap here, maybe we'll see something different from these guys.
One has to hope so. Sigma doesn't play so well into the Reinhardt, so this is a strong adaptation for the Bobcats. And you do now have that speed utility with Black Pappy on that Juno, right? You've got the Hyper Ring for your engages. Just have to make sure these fights don't go long, else you will be picked apart by the Alari Zen backline. The Royals now spotting. High ground set up here first for Chan, but he can't stay here forever.
Ooh, but you can if you're taking care of these people. As you mentioned, you gotta take care of that Yachty and that Zenyatta because they are unrelentless in finding those opening picks there, as you saw from Flint and Greninja here as well. And also, of course, Hammer on that Soldier, I couldn't really see as often, helping in with the assist on a 3K opener for Warner, taking care of the point first and even moving up into the opponent's spawn area. And they get a nice, clean first elimination onto Nana.
And more still a possibility. Hammer running great work now, even while off the Torbjorn. Flash hyper aggressive with the slide, pushing deeper. And Bobcats again corralled into spawn. What a strong start here from the Royals, who really just seem intent to put their mark onto the map, their mark into this season of the Sun Conference, and make sure that Bobcats know to be scared. At least the Bobcats are allowed to fight once more, but the shield already broken with Boundless is a hell of a lot more tricky.
Oh my goodness, even charging in gets rocked down, and then it's just a constant spray of spam from the Zenyatta, from the Sigma, from the Yachty, we'll even throw in Sojourn and Soldier in there. Nanakiri gets a beautiful rail shot onto the Zenyatta, as we had just seen, and they even slides right back up and finds, unfortunately, the reversal of it. Gonna be finding Nanakiri in the wrong end of Flash's rail shots. Warner now going in for the flank. 87% to that visor. You can see Hammer is looking for a little bit of extra ult charge to find these guys a little bit lacking on that end. Any swaps here? Yeah, we're gonna be seeing not just the Tracer, but also the Doomfist for a hopeful quick touch. But with a very quick elimination does come in the favor of Flash. Once again, ripping havoc on this Soldier.
I feel like Discord as well from Gunja, like onto the Doomfist especially, absolutely evaporates your HP. You don't have a straight damage negation ability, right? Your block is only proportional, but same with the Discord, so absolutely explodes. 95% left to go. I don't think a touch is happening. Bobcats, nothing to say. It is the Royals who are able to take Ilios in 200-0 fashion.
Yeah, they absolutely will. I mean, pretty much making sure that that STU just could not walk out of their spawn area. The Bobcats simply put their claws away and were forced to in that regard. And maybe it's just a control thing, right? Hopefully, when we move into the subsequent map types, hybrid, push, control, or not control, excuse me, flashpoint, all that jazz, maybe we'll have a little bit more of a better opportunity. The Hammer play of the game, of course, we can't have it. We can't go without it. In the very first match of the Sun Conference. Thank you, Hammer, for that.
Listen, I get it though. It's a great way of having some fun and establishing dominance as well. That being said, the only thing with the Hammer, you have to make sure you're not going a little bit too overboard with it, because I've definitely almost seen series thrown due to an over excitement to do with that particular weapon. In terms of risk at this game, the Royals, it was relatively low. They looked like they were very firmly in control the entire time. And whilst it's not over for the Bobcats, yeah, obviously 2 maps left to play. They've got their first ban. They've got their own map pick. There weren't a lot of great signs from them either. The adaptations, in terms of the comps, I did like. In terms of the execution, not quite there yet. And so maybe some time outside the server to discuss and to figure out what exactly went wrong is going to be great for them, because they can head into the next map with more of a concrete idea of how they're going to execute. Flip side of things, though, if they're not aware, if they maybe don't have that, ability to detach in between these maps, then they're going to really struggle trying to make significant and relevant changes against opposition of this caliber.
Well, speaking of the next map, right, you have a plethora of options, as we do have our set map types, right? We're going from control into hybrid now for sure. And of the 4 the maps we do have for hybrid, I do think of Numbani, Kings Row, Midtown, and Hollywood. If we saw how comfortable we had seen STU on that Ram and on that Reinhardt, at least to default to those 2 characters. You and I have kind of, I'm assuming, are thinking they might want to go Kings Row here, right? Might be the option, might be the play. It could inhibit a little bit of that Sigma that we saw from Chan coming in from Warner, as that Sigma was very, very excellent. Constantly great cooldown management, great utilization of the rock to make sure that that charge from that Reinhardt's not going to get any further than this archway. That shield broken. The Discord Orb, as you mentioned earlier, was a big kicker as well, because you can't really quickly disengage, because guess what? You don't have time to disengage and re-engage. You have to go in at that point. So hopefully with something like King's Row, that's a little bit more of a brawl-based composition. And also, you can get Lucio back as well. Might be something worth noting. Maybe this is what SU needed. Maybe they were down to Lucio. They're like, okay, let's get Vendetta and Lucio back into the fray, and let's get ourselves back kicking into gear.
Yeah, I think a bit of pace is going to be pretty useful for STU to play with. Again, you're talking about the Sigma, it just gets run over so quickly by Ryan comes with real speed. I understand, the Juno is somewhat of a stopgap attempt to fill that, but what you have to understand is that because Juno only has that speed on a 15, 18 second cooldown, your team is very limited from when you can invest it. Either you're pacing it towards the enemy team, you've got this great burst of super high speed, or you've got nothing, whereas with Lucio, whilst Amp is, on a 12-second cooldown, you still have that passive boost, which just makes it a little bit easier to get within hammer range that little bit faster, make it that much harder for the enemy team to kite you. So it's understandable the fixes they tried, but I think you're absolutely right. The Lucio being back in is going to be absolutely night and day.
Oh, for sure. And it can get around so much faster in general. As you mentioned, Speed Ring being on an absurd cooldown, but understandable absurd cooldown, and at least with Speed Boost, you have it passively either way in that nice hitbox of the sphere, right? So that'll be giving your Ram so much better opportunities to overtake the Sigma. Of course, assuming that we're going to see Warner on that Sigma. Now, I would also expect Warner to adjust accordingly, right? Depending on where we go. Let's say we go to Midtown for whatever reason. Okay, great. Low key, keep that Sigma. That's fine. But we end up going to a Numbani, something that is a whole lot more privy to the dive, Winston, D.Va, especially D.Va. Whoa, D.Va, low key, she's back. She's also a very viable dive character. That could also be a complete an option of let's change up not just the dynamic of the map, but also the whole composition. The entire skill set to display could also be an option of just showcasing something else for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, current patch doesn't have so much room for Winston. He's getting exploded by a lot of the picks that are kind of in vogue right now, especially Bastion, to a lesser extent Vendetta. Reaper's always a possibility at the present. And considering the other tanks right now, Bull, always playable if you can play Bull, but if you can't, D.Va, Hazard, both very, very viable. Yes. I've got to say, those are the heroes we expect to see if we go towards a Numbani. Has, especially, I've been seeing quite a bit of the ability to drop into damage reduction just off your right click with basically no cooldown, with no ability linked to it. It's so strong. Blocking this game needs a nerf straight up, right? I mean, look at all the strong heroes that have got blocks.
Yo, the other day I didn't know this because I don't play Vendetta or Tracer. Like I don't care for DPS, as you can tell, right? So I'm spectating Face It, and I'm like, oh, Vendetta got pulse bomb. She's dead here. What do you mean block negates pulse bomb? What do you? And not even taking damage. Like you didn't take any damage. Like not even like residual damage. Like I know Cassidy can roll through it, but you still take damage. It's a reduction. No, she just straight up like that's ridiculous. That is.
I personally think it's kind of annoying that if you block after something stuck to you, it still reduces for the full damage. Like if you eat full stickies, you get pulse, and then you block, like it reduces damage. I don't know, that just feels wrong to me.
It does feel wrong. It's like it's the same thing that Brig has, but Brig can't do that because Brig's shield sucks. Apparently,
you
both on Brig's shield. It's like.
Yeah.
So they can't fix Brig's shield, but you can make a whole new ability with a sword.
Yeah.
Blizzard, fix Brig, please. I love Vendetta. I love Vendetta the character in Overwatch 2.
I think I love the character design. I think it's great character design. Sure. The voice actor seems really cool. Character needs some work in terms of the balancing for sure. If I was to change anything though about the game, there's just like a lot of bugs that annoy me. Maybe they don't annoy everyone, they annoy me. Well,
annoy you.
It's my enjoyment of the game. That's what I'm going to focus on. Kill feed bug. Doesn't get everyone. For you and I, it's absolutely maddening, right? Like...
During that fight, when Hammer was getting a 3K, I was like, did they come back? Like, when did they have... Oh, it's...
Yeah.
They have yet to fix that. Oh my gosh, that kill feed bug. I remember when we first caught it, and I was like, am I tripping? Like, am I okay? Like, I swear these teams are on the opposite side. Why are you blue? Why are you blue? Why are you red? And then it was just, it didn't matter. No matter what you did, it just didn't matter. The team always registers whatever you're spectating as Team A, as blue team, always. And it's Blizzard. I don't care if you're watching this or you're not. Please fix that. I am like, it's been at least 2 patches since then, and I have been sobbing every single
Uh-huh.
day about it.
Just
What other bugs bother you, Spec? I love to know this. The kill feed
the-
bug is so relatable.
Yeah, a lot of Brig Shield interaction bugs with Bomb, especially. That happens a
Mhm.
lot. There's a lot of Doom bugs that are annoying.
Oh,
FPS, obviously, optimization has been a hot topic as of late. Love to see
Yes.
that kind of fixed out. I believe currently there's a RAM leak where if
Yep.
you close the game improperly, it just continues eating up half your RAM. So you reopen it, stuff doesn't work.
Yep. I think I suffered from that the other day on one
Yeah.
of my streams when I was co-casting, and well, first of all, someone followed me on Twitch, and my computer immediately destroyed itself.
I've had crash mid streams as well. It's
And I was just like, this game, my setup can handle it. Like, why are you acting like a drama queen? And Overwatch is begging for too much attention. Now that I've learned also as well as possibly a memory leak, it is no less tilting. I keep Task Manager open, and you know what, Spec? I've noticed that when you keep Task Manager open, everything behaves. It's like the mother walks in the room, and your computer's like, "Ooh, mom's here. I gotta behave now." Ooh. They gotta fix that really bad though, because Overwatch I've always praised for pretty solid optimization. You can play that on a piece on a Dookie PC for a laptop. I've had people playing on a laptop at 30 FPS and it's fine. So I don't know what they did. It was Vendetta. She broke the game, literally.
Yeah. Oh, well, and some other things I feel like, but yeah, it was
And-
definitely up there. Oh yeah, what we're suggesting changes to the games. Rotog's done. He's not in the lobby anymore. He's removed from Overwatch. He goes to the big gaming hall in the sky straight up. I'm not dealing with him. I don't even remotely care.
Well, we do care, but we have our map finally, right? So we have Kings Row, as you speculated, as we inferred, and as we were correct, because we're never wrong ever as casters. And
I've never said something wrong.
no, me neither. We've never said anything wrong, which is why
Actually, sorry
here.
to sidetrack you slightly, but when
Yeah,
I was
go
in
ahead.
Stockholm for World Finals, I was in a bar. A person came up to me, goes, "Hi, I'm X player. I remember about a year ago you were casting me, and you just said a bunch of nonsense about my team, and I'm just here to correct you." I was like,
Oh,
okay,
the way.
oops.
No, but you
Oops."
weren't wrong though. He was wrong. It's okay. You're never wrong. He was wrong by his own team. And then you're never wrong. And on that note, we have some very interesting bands for you, Spec. Are you ready for these bands? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We
Give me.
have a solid band, Widowmaker. Okay, fine. Okay,
Okay,
Outspawn,
bit weird,
Widowmaker
but,
band,
you know.
great, cute. And Lifeweaver is the next band. Lifeweaver.
They're both just a bit strange, is what I would say.
A little
Like,
bit.
Widowmaker is played on Kings Row 98% of the time, just so you can go for spawn shots and then change to something more consistent.
Yep.
You know, occasionally we'll have like somebody picks like Widow and just runs through the map like courts or whatever. But it's a rarity. Weaver on Kings Row is a thing, technically. I think I've seen 2 teams do it ever, and one of them was GK.
Yep.
It just isn't that good. It's like fine, I guess, if you're a Weaver, but you can also just play like another hero and get 98% of the same value. So, very strange bands from both of these teams. Essentially, imagine that you're playing entirely standard Overwatch, because that's basically what we've got, right?
Yep.
We'll say as well, I managed to get a Widowmaker spawn shot, actually, in my rank game earlier today. I was very proud. It's one of those things you go for as, like, ritual, rather than to actually see what happens. But I actually got my 1.
Oh. Well, I think we're gonna get a quick little restart here because the
Yes,
game
we
mode
are.
is set for quick play, which actually has happened to me in officials before, and we didn't catch it in time, and we played the entirety of Numbani, and then we were like shocked and the game ended.
I would be fuming.
that was a moment in history where we were like, oh, where's my round 2? They really play it, and I'm looking back at my own VOD, and I'm like, no, we didn't play it. Like, it was. That's happened to me before, so I'm glad they caught it very quickly, because also the quick play time, the times you have for capping and everything is
Yes.
a little bit outrageous. Like, they have 5 entire minutes to cap first point. That's a little too much time.
You
Give
can
me
bang
4
like 2
by
ult
4
cycles
minutes.
off that, realistically.
No, literally, like, give me my 4 minutes, give me nothing, because 5 is way, and that also leads into, like, again, if you cap first point in like 30 seconds, you have an absurd like 7-minute countdown for point B. Nah, I hate quick play for that reason. It's too long sometimes,
I totally
way
can
too
quick
long.
play anyway. I forget what the rules were even like. I log
No,
in,
yeah.
I start shooting targets, I see the time bank, I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing that now.
Whoa, like,
You
whoa,
know?
what's this?
Exactly. Listen,
I'm looking at quick play. I'm like, where's my bands?
ranks is just quick play to me. That's just how competitive
No,
my brain is
yeah.
at.
Open queue ranked is my quick play warm up into regular into regular roll queue ranked. And I played quick play the other day and I was just like, where's my band phase? Why am I just going I picked a map, where's my bands? And I was like, oh, maybe I'm toxic. Maybe maybe we're the problem.
I mean, we could be the problem. That doesn't mean we're wrong.
Exactly. It goes back to the point, Spec. We're never wrong as casters. When are we
Yo,
when's
internalize
it gonna
it.
click?
Oh,
Oh,
to be fair-
I love this. Oh, to be
Is
fair,
that
yeah.
like that's gonna be the gesture for the streams?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, take
Yeah.
we're all good. It's a first stream back for Sun Conference. These guys know the drill. Things happen. We are all Gucci. But yeah, so we did see Doomfist actually. Unironically though, we did see Doomfist on defense.
I mean, Doomfist is apparently good because Blizzard felt the need to nerf him last patch. I'm not mad. I promise. But no, Doom is always one of those heroes, kind of like Wrecking Ball, where if you have the skill for it, you can still find quite a high amount of individual value, right? And Empowered Punch is always going to win you a fight if you just like punch them.
Punch.
Which feels
You
weird.
just punch them.
It was almost like the phrasing's redundant, right? But if you punch multiple people, then they'll get like long CC, plenty of damage is taken. It's essentially like hitting like one Dragon Blade swing on the entire enemy team half the time with a second of
Yeah.
CC to boot. So it has the skill ceiling absolutely there, but also quite simple to punish. So viable if you feel like you can pull out the fist. If not, you're often finding it more consistent to go with one of those more standard tanks.
Yeah. You know, Ram, I mean, we saw Ryan, so I'll throw Ryan there for funsies. Zarya, I feel like I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen Zarya come out at all. Only because I again feel like she has just, hey girl, she's here. Like, you can tell. It's like, oh, Zarya is a tank to play, and she's very, very viable right now. Again, especially if she's coupled with a Reaper, Vendetta, or a Genji, even to a smaller extent Tracer. But I feel like Tracer does a lot of her own thing more often than not than the other flexi piss in the game. So you know, I'll throw her in there for respect's sake, but and not really with the Zarya. But you know, it's just really interesting to see. Again, I'm still kind of hung up on the bans too. The Life Fear ban might have just been a protection ban on a backline because we had gotten the Lucio ban so quickly. So maybe that might have been more of a protection ban for either the two teams. I don't know which one banned Red Fever, but that could also be a factor. Because Widowmaker, as you mentioned, like, yeah, you'll see Widowmaker every single time you played King's Row. It's just, you know, the odds drop dramatically if you actually stay with her or not.
Or even if it gets like any value, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think every time I play King's Row, I go for a Widow Spawn shot. I do not get a kill. I get a kill maybe 1 out of every 100 games. And half the time I start to walk out of spawn anyway because I'm just like bored. It's not a consistent strategy, but like, it is, why not, right? It's like trying because I feel like the only other map you do it on would be Eichenwald, right? And you need a Mercy Pocket to hit the one step of that range. But people still try it. So you might as well still go for it. What could go wrong?
Yeah, no, for sure, you know, and well, Eichenwald as well, as you mentioned, like, you need both Widow and Life Weaver for that, so that's something to take funny note of. But we do see the Sigma come back out from Boundless here. We also have the Ashe, another character we didn't really talk about, but I feel like we've been seeing a lot more of. The Ashe in general, I feel like has been getting a whole lot more playtime as of late here. And this Symmetra from King Snow. So this is a very interesting just kind of TP in ideally composition. And hold on. We are forcing the hands early here. Chen is just chilling on this Doomfist though. Kind of getting that power, getting powered up and everything like that. Mercy, mind you, from Greninja. Yeah, they're not going in yet. Yeah, there it is. Oh, my button. There we go. Okay, they found it.
To be fair, I thought for a second he didn't have the interact key bound. I've definitely done that before. But
Yeah,
no
same.
matter what's bound for Kings now and Black Pappy, as they've both been evaporated. Damage booster Junkrat absolutely shreds through your HP. And combined with the Doom Punch, ends up with a pretty swift end to the Bobcats. Flash able to get the final double. And it's a minute off the bank pretty quick here. Seems like playing towards the Hammer Riptire is going to be the name of the game here for the Royals. The Bobcats, a perfectly timed cleanse could get them out, but it is a high skill check for Fox Melee, who's up until now been quiet.
Well, it has the Kiriko, right? Kiriko and the Ana backline double flex support to boot here. Flash is gonna get a little bit iced out by King Snow here. Off of the high ground here as well. Now back on the low ground, kind of finding Chan in the movie theater. We are able to in fact back out, and King Snow bops his head right onto the ceiling. And while that's happening, Flash with the beautiful rail shot onto the opposition, also finding it onto King Snow. Why not onto Boundless? Let's get a couple more kills onto the Ana, onto, well, back in spawn room, but safe to go. But Overclock online, as well as the Riptire and the Meteor Strike.
Overclock to boot. I mean, your firepower here is pretty ridiculous. And while the Meteor Strike, in terms of the kill power, isn't that great, what it allows Chance to do in terms of being proactive, right? Using it as an escape tool, absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, oh my god!
Oh, that is ridiculous. Like, that's just beyond ridiculous. First of all, the 3-man tire goes absolutely insane, but then the overclock, that's just a little extra sprinkles on top of my ice cream, and we don't have anything else for it. You know, we have Valkyrie. We use the window from Flint, I believe, to help assist Flash in that kill, and we're gonna continue to see Bobcats try to fight their way out of it with a Doomfist mirror here, but neither is gonna happen because here comes Chan's Meteor Strike right onto Nanakiri, turning down the Sojourn almost immediately here, sending these guys into another 4v5 that they are unable to really find a win from. King Snow, unfortunately, walking into one of the mines, and hold on, damage boosted Junkrat, as you mentioned, gonna be the kicker here for Boundless.
Oh, I mean, that last fight was brutal. An overspend in ults, though, which means that technically the Bobcats do have something of an advantage. Nanakiri gets their one, and closer spawns do mean that there's a chance here, but the res being through from Gonja does mean advantage quickly fades. Still, like I mentioned, you've got those ults. The Nano Kitsu Doomfist could be powerful, but Bandus wants to go back onto that Ramacha. Decides the Comfort Hero is comfortable for a reason. 30 seconds left to go. They've got to figure out how to get a touch going, how to get a fight going. Oh, TP's knife with a punch is brutal.
Yeah, it finds the Sojourn off of the high ground, and Akira literally walking on eggshells there at 1 HP. And while we're trying to save Nana there, we also see King Snow trying to go to the high ground, gets completely iced out by Chan. And that, of course, that riveting Doomfist we've been seeing from Chan all throughout the last 4 minutes of King's Row. Now nearing down in the last 7 seconds, another Riptire comes in and sends Nana flying into the air. And just like that, the Bobcats have been full health here on King's Row round 1. Warner Royals looking absolutely primed and ready to take that first tick for the map completion.
The traffic's been essentially one way as well, right? I mean, as far as I'm aware, it's been 1 kill for the Bobcats. Royals having the time of their lives, essentially touching the spawn doors. Obviously, Chan gets the 4-piece to close out the half. And whilst the hold here is possible, Bobcats are going to have to dig incredibly deep. Elsa, pretty quick 2-0. They are going to be staring down the gun of, in terms of what you want defensively, normally you want to go towards something that isn't as cyclical, that allows you to keep a constant amount of pressure. Ram, Soj, double flex, all of that are things you'd see much more on the defense, so their comp is better suited for it if they go towards the comfort. But Boundless wants to try the Doom, wants to try to bring the fight to their opposition. It's bold, I'll give him that, but this strat needs to find more success than it did on the previous half, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it really does, and there's no other way to put it besides just as blankly as you just did. They have to find a way to hold for 4 entire minutes, just as well as Warner Brothers, as Warner University were able to do so. SC needs to find the same really a miracle here. And now with the, of course, mirroring that Baptiste, you have the Kiriko once again from Fox Melee. You're gonna have King Snow and Nana both on this really nice long range heroes of the Ash, excuse me, and the Sojourn. That could make things a little bit different here, but Warner Bros. Have something up their sleeves. They're running the Symmetra already here, Spec, and they have the Lucio and the Wuyang. They want to go real fast into the opposition, and there they go, right through the hotel towards the back line. We're going all the way around town. We are making up rotation. We're making things up.
Well, this just seems like a riff on the Great Bamboozle, of course, where we've seen a comp very dissimilar to this. At least follows similar pathing. Nobody's in spawn, though, to try and find these revelations. So just Hammer setting right clicks across the map, hoping one connects. Like, and I see VM and Black Pappy going down means that one has.
It's all going away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just Boundless trying his best, but not going to be enough here. I mean, the rotation, it was great. Quite literally cinema. I could not have had it any other way. Neither could have the Warner Royals, as they do find a very, very, very quick round completion of King's Row here. And they have also solidified a very comfortable standing for match point.
Yeah, that they have. I don't imagine that they're feeling too stressed about their position at the moment. Take another look at, I believe, this 3K Tire. Yeah, just hiding in one of the corners of the enemy spawn. Uses the speed boosted Tire as well. That's literally unbreakable, realistically. I know I'm not reacting to that. If I don't straight up read the rat sitting there, then you just gotta eat it, realistically.
You gotta hold that,
really
yeah.
unpleasant for him. It's just the way things go sometimes.
Yeah, it comes down to just gotta hold that, and it's okay. You know, it's the start of the new season. Things can always change up. It's about, I think, 5 or 6 weeks of the Sun Conference before playoffs in late February. So adjustments can be made as always, and you know, we're gonna see a whole lot of other universities come through and showcase some other fun strategies. I'm glad that we are seeing some fun stuff though. Like, there's always a worry that maybe they might be playing. And nothing wrong with it, of course, but playing something more like attuned to being was super meta. And it's like, okay, at some point I'm good seeing Zara, Vendetta, you know, Genji, Kiriko, Lucio for like 2 hours. Maybe a Sojourn as a
2
treat.
hours?
I mean,
You're
Ash is a
lucky.
treat. Man, like these best of fives, they need it. But with this, you know, we're seeing a lot of creativity, and I will always favor creativity from either team over, you know, kind of just what's been defined as good, defined as meta. You know, so I do think that, you know, with Warner with a really good record right now, really good synergy, really great compositions. As funny as they kind of are, they do work. You know, the Junkrat and the Hammer. I know where you are. You're playing Junkrat, Soldier, and Torbjorn. You are playing the most like mosquito characters in this game, and I have to applaud you for it, man.
Yeah, they're quite something. Again, like I hate to harken everything back to my own experience, but playing with a player like Cheeseburger who has this exact hero pool, you really get to know that they're very. You need to be a strong character to play these stranger characters, right? You need to be like, yeah, I want to play with this weird stuff. I want to a lot of the time just make people angry. I want to play the game in these confusing and quote unquote easy ways, just to throw a spanner in the works, and obviously doing it fantastically. Hammer's done it on Brat, on Torbjorn, on Symmetra. Also great effect. This is the whole shebang. And the thing about playing all the weird characters is that's still quite a lot of roster depth. That's still a lot of flexibility it affords you. And while you might need to be a bit more creative with your problem solving, you still have all the tools to counter anything that's thrown at you. So I think Hammer's definitely one for us to watch going forwards.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's one thing to have a more standard hero pool. Like, I always go back to Flex DPS, you know, having Genji, Tracer, Vendetta, and then, you know, throw Echo in there for funsies, right? That's great. Okay. But what about my weirdos, my specialists, my little guys that play Torb? I love to run down Torb and Junkrat and all that jazz, right? So I think that's what Hammer fulfills really well for Warner Royals. And now that, again, if you're St. Thomas University, you're thinking, okay, we got rolled on Oasis in Brawl pretty much for most of it. We got rolled on King's Row here in a Doomfist kind of semi-mirror. We saw a little bit of Ram, a little bit of Sigma come out from these guys. So when we go into, I believe it's Flashpoint. Yeah, Flashpoint. You have one of two options for this map pool. We're not gonna have ooh.
What on the street is push. Yep.
It is push. My map pool. Grr. Okay, we are going
Ooh.
push. We are gonna have 3 options. I know one extra option in Flashpoint. How exciting! We're gonna have Colosseo, Esperanza, or New Queen Street as viable picks for push. No Runasapi, which is a little bit interesting, but I digress. Maybe it's too much Runasapi. We gotta go back to the classics.
Too much Renasafi, in
Too much
my
Runasapi.
opinion. It's
Too much
overrated.
Runasapi.
It's not good.
Chill. Wait.
I said it's not
Ash
bad.
baby.
It's not bad. It's boring. It's boring. Nothing happens on it. It has no interesting features.
I mean, Loki, you're right. Like it's.
Like anytime I'm playing Runasafi, I'm playing Overwatch. This map does
I'm
not
playing
influence
Overwatch.
the way I make any decisions. You're playing Circle Royale, like wow, I shouldn't play Fang because there's no side lanes. You're playing
Yeah.
Elio, so like wow, they're on that long sidelines. We might play double flexing, maybe even like
Yeah.
Echo Tracer. You're playing Runasapi. Whatever's meta, just play that.
Play that. Just
Yep.
make things up. There's
We'll
just
fight
make
them.
it up.
Fight them on
It's
bot. Who
fine.
cares?
Oh my god! And Runasapi always like most comeback mode in the game ever. Like I've never seen it before in my life where it's just like a map that consistently always has last 2 minutes. You can be down 120 meters. It do not matter. I don't know what prayers has been done between like the 2-minute marker and the 1 minute 59-second marker, but that team that's losing will win 9 times out of 10.
I feel like a lot of it is because if you get if both teams win fights, if you like trading fights evenly,
Yeah.
then one team doesn't like gain an advantage, right? For every other mode, you get much more of an advantage if one team is just like trading fights back and forth. If you're on like Escort, for example, the attacking team is getting an advantage because they're getting progress, every second fight. On Control, then it's just whoever has like more lead because they're going to get there first. But on Push, because the other way the overtime works, all you need to do is like win a bunch of fights in overtime. And also because overtime gives you longer respawn timers, you need to win less fights in overtime than you would otherwise. So
I hate overtime respawn timers. 11-second, 12-second respawn. Yeah, you're redonkulous. Like you're actually. Yeah, so I get why. I go back to Esperanza and Colosseo and New Queen Street, all of which, of course, bring their own flavor. Esperanza, I think of the 3 is the most, spiceless. I will say, I feel like everyone kind of does have a comp that they like to play on Esperanza. So do I. Like I get it. But either way, like we saw a lot of flexibility from Warner Royals. They are not afraid of changing things up, of running something that we have not really seen yet from these guys. Whereas you can see STU like to default to a couple of their favorites, like Sojourn. We've seen more often than not. From Nana. We've also seen some flexibility from the Flex DPS, a little bit of Tracer, a little bit of Venture. We saw a lot of Kiriko as well as a good mainstay for them. So I think centered around those 3 characters, they do kind of do a little bit of swapping here and there. Some Wuyong, some Baptiste. We saw some Ana as well. But at the end of the day, how well can you play that into Esperanza, which can kind of give a plethora of different compositions? That's the real question. Do you have not only the composition and flexibility, but do you also have the play style flexibility and to change up the game plan on the fly?
One of the things I really like about Esperanza is I think it really forces teams to be mobile, right? Any sort of static play on the map will get you punished very quickly. And so your ability to rotate quickly and as a unit, I think is what the map really tests. Mobility obviously makes that a lot easier, which is why we see lots of Winston, other fast things here, but you're not beholden to it as long as you can flip. And as the bans come through with being, Doom and Soj, mobility has been hurt. Let's having this conversation just today, to speak about the difference between Cass and Soj in the current meta. And, for dealing with dive, though Cass has those flashes, which is nice, on the whole, that's enough to stop one diver. Whereas with Soj, you can simply not be there with the slide. She's such a powerful hero, and always will be while she has both slide and shot. And for that reason, taking care of her, I think, is a pretty strong choice always.
Chan and Hammer and Flint and Ganja. Flash, you're excused. You're playing Widowmaker. Look at this composition from my eyes right now.
A real comp. What is this?
This is a real composition. This is a real sad sadness, composition. I feel like I love the way it plays. I love the idea of it, right? I like watching it because you can really see the Vendetta and Zar work out a lot together. You can see the vent coming in from Hammer. There's a bubble, goes to the back line. There's an anti-nade and the Suzu comes out a little bit too late though. So beautiful shutdown onto Hammer for a little bit of over aggression in that engagement, which is honestly a thing that a lot of Vendettas do. They think they're invincible, and y'all are not with that bubble. So with Hammer coming in all the way from the spawn room, now there's a big advantage here for STU Bobcats.
That there is. I mean, Hammer just a little bit too over-aggressive there. Tried to push past the line of sight of Azaria. That means no bubbles can be provided. Tries it again. Plenty of damage onto the Ryan, who, if he holds shield, can't do anything but charge. You stacked, but swinging back often makes it harder for the Vendetta. Cut has been rolling for a second, but Hammer the one-shot onto Kings now turns the tables right back the other way.
Oh, not just that, we also get a headshot from Flash onto Fox and Melee, so leaving ST with a little bit of a lack of support, even more so a lack of DPS. Nenakiri also pincered by Hammer here in the small room. I've barely ever going in that room, my goodness. And Hammer gets a 3K, so look at this. Hammer comes back with a little bit of a redemption arc after what was a polarizing start to that Vendetta showcase. And now we can really see what or how well this can really play. Singling out this Tracer, forcing out the recall early on in the bridge or in the staircase. And ooh, a little bit of toe breaking, or ankle breaking, but not enough to get away from the slice and dice of that sword.
Yeah, I mean, Vendetta just has two movement cooldowns, so she's incredibly hard to flee from, even if you are Tracer. Both bubbles invested, high charge for Chan, and no opponents left for them to beam over, as the Bobcats just been incapable of matching the pace of the Royals.
Yeah, they really have been. Also, the fact that we also have the advantage of a Lucio, right, from Flint for Warner World, something that I will quickly put out there. They are faster than the Bobcats here. We are going to see some swaps, right? We have Nenakiri on that Echo, and, you know, Echo into Widowmaker. You're brave, but here's a little bit of a clash here, and we cancel the retribution from Hammer. Nicely done from Boundless. You're going to be seeing a sound barrier just to kind of make up a little bit of that stabilization, but only hits Flint, so not gonna be able to see it really come into fruition for the rest of the team here. Ninja will be able to use not only just a Continuous Rush, but also couple it with that Graviton Surge, getting a nice little headshot onto their opponent. And with that being said, the entirety of Warner Royals, with the loss of Hammer, do invest in every single ultimate, by the way, just to win the corner fight.
They will get it though. Cut continues to move. So they're not going to be too mad about whatever progress they've got right, especially in this long stretch. So awkward to move down, especially when you're playing against a comp that's like slightly juicier than you. The Urshax though is going to be a problem. Boundless just has to invest it, and unless Chan hits a perfect bubble, it's going to be multiple members of the Royals on the ground.
But look how split they are here, Spec. They're looking for it, and the Venom Mine of all things takes King Snow out of the fight early from Flash. And we do get a little bit trade-off, right? Hammer for Fox Melee, but Boundless, as we mentioned, not able to utilize that shatter in the face of quite literally the Avengers in your face. So with that win under their belt, STU Bobcats, Warner Royals pushing up, kissing the spawn doors pretty much as the Bobcats run out, swinging and charging. But no backup, no cavalry. It's not here yet for Boundless.
That it is not, and the cart's getting closer and closer towards completing the map. Running out of time here are the Bobcats, and members to boot as King Snow again going down.
I need a shatter to be heavy. Ooh, good bubble. A little bit of a mini grip here from the newly awakened Life Weaver from I Know Black Poppy. We are also going to see the headshot from the Widowmaker from Flash. Now looking towards the Life Weaver, who's now diving onto the Sniper, which as you should as Life Weaver main myself. I've done that many a time, and unfortunately not going to be able to find the kill here. It is going to be the Kiriko from Warner Royals, finding most of the eliminations. In fact, and we also have another Graviton Surge on the field, but Spec, there are more closer and ever closer to fully capping out Esperanza. There's an aerial Graviton Surge. We are in the air, unable to touch. No one's on the cart though. Hold on. Where's my progression? It stopped.
Yeah, but that's what I'm going to restart in a second. Cart still rolling. Touch needed. Hammer and Gonja both post frags. And Flash shows no signs of being upstage. Lovely headshot from the Widowmaker. Simply avoids the Reinhardt with the hook. And straight back to hard scoping the spawn. don't think it's even possible for another member to touch as Fox Melee is dispatched, and as the meters tick down, Royals complete an absolutely thunderous 3-0.
Absolutely. Well done from these guys. Genuinely, GG's in chat. It is what it is. A 3-0 for the Royals. Chad, excuse me, getting the play of the game here. I think it was probably one of the Graviton searches that had the continuing rush inside of it. Likely. Oh! I never wrong, Spec. I'm just never wrong. This is a great... It was a great grab. I can't even get mad at bro. Like, that was a great grab. It shut down Nano. And honestly, Boundless was just unable to use the Shatter at any point. Held onto it since that Graviton Surge and all the way until the end of the map. So unfortunately for St. Thomas University, a little bit of a rough start to the season, but things can always change as we continue on with the Sun Conference.
Yeah, I mean, into Kiri Zarkon specifically, there's so much peel you need to be aware of that if you even try and go for like a solo shatter, what I'd normally recommend, you need to make sure they also can't just get bubbled, cleansed, and then even you've invested your ult to draw like 2 cooldowns. It's a super rough scenario to be in, unfortunately one that doesn't work out in favor of the Bobcats, but as we have been mentioning, it's quite a long season. 7 weeks of regular season play to go, and so they've got plenty of time to sharpen their swords for the next time they play, because obviously this is not a result they'd love to repeat, and they have the resources to do much better.
Oh, for sure, and especially at the college level, right? You're still juggling things like your thesis, if you're a senior course, your theses and things like that, projects, collaboration, stuff like that, alongside, of course, playing the fine little game. So we are getting word if we want to get an interview on deck here from our winners of the first week, Warner University, of course. So with that being said, we're gonna get word on that, and we're gonna. Okay, Warner hates us. They don't know Waldo's. No, I'm kidding. They're not gonna have an interview for you guys, unfortunately. But hopefully, we'll have some more in the rest of the season. It's week 1. We're just coming back into everything, warming ourselves back into the whole vibe of the Sun Conference. But what a start! A lot of really great compositions, a lot of really great plays, especially from Warner Royals, and always room for improvement for St. Thomas University, and of course the other teams we have coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think Royals have definitely put themselves up in a power position, right? Teams watching onwards will see that they are one of the ones to beat. We've got to wait and see if anybody is able to do it, or whether Royals are going to be able to continue this momentum throughout this entire season, all the way through to, as you mentioned, the playoffs. That is going to be something I, for one, are keeping my eyes on for SCU. Obviously, showed us some great powers of adaptation, not able to get it quite to stick, though. If they can just level up their firepower, then they could also be a contender in the later stages of that season. But we're going to have to wait for those later parts of the season, because for now, that is going to be it from us. So, yeah, no. So yeah, it's going to be it from us. We've had Nix, yes, who's been doing the wonderful observation and production. Thanks so much, because I think, as me and Mott both know, it's a lot to juggle. I mean, thanks so much for Mott and Ava for, as ever, being my wonderful play-by-play. My name has been Spectron, and from us here at the Sun Conference, signing off.
Paralyze my heart. Don't wanna feel your touch like ice, tracing all my scars. Why is it hurt on the inside? It's unforgivable, but I forgive you.